Hello everyone, welcome back to Durbanites FPL. It's time for the final game week preview. All happening now, game week 38. The Premier League is settled. Arsenal getting the championship trophy. First time in 22 years, fantastic for them. Looks for Durbanites, everything is still open, but it is an immense task for anyone to catch Suad at the top, so time for her to close it up. But importantly, Plunder has come from nowhere to challenge her in the cup. So let's see if she can make it a league and cup double. But for now, let's start as usual with the table. As you can see, Suad well ahead by 160 some odd points. It's unlikely she will be caught by anyone this season. But if you look at that, top 8 teams already over 2,000 points, which is quite fantastic. And then another 2 that should hopefully make it, and maybe many more down the line. Not many changes in the league, but we've been making a climb. They maybe left it too late this year, but so far that's what it looks like. It looks like still some fight to happen between 3rd, 4th, 5th. Let's see how that works out in the week ahead. Now going into the cup, as we said, Plunder FC knocking out Zaxin Are You Sure, and Atta losing out to his younger sister. So Plunder FC take on Roboclop in the final. Let's see how that's going to work out. Now looking ahead, guys, on the player selections, Erling Haaland still maintains his 80% selection among all the managers, and Gabriel Machel is still holding at 60. That may drop in this last week. But looking at the differentiators, Carl Dallo, Dango Otara owned by 1 manager, each of them getting to double figures last week. Bukayo Saka owned by 2. Enzo Fernandez and Elliot Anderson, the midfield pairing, owned by 3. Ollie Watkins still coming in again hot this week, as did Morgan Rogers in that Aston Villa victory. And then Virgil van Dijk owned by 8 managers, pulling a double figure return this week as well. When we look at that, the hits and misses, Stonewalls at the back by Suad, myself, Zakia, Hassan, Mobs, Didi, Fatih and Ami, all owing to a great performance by Virgil van Dijk plus some support. Zion Squish getting an iron wall, 30 plus points, which is quite fantastic. Super strikers for all those that decided to captain Erling Haaland or paired him up with Ollie Watkins, Suad, myself, Zakia, Zaida, Azra, Fatih, Mohammed Sadiq, Hassan, my bhai, and Umair. And then elite strikers for the brotherly duo there of Mohammed Amin, Hussein Ahmed. Well done, 30 plus points up front. Zaida unfortunately playing a triple captain on Victor Gyökeres, who didn't even get a start for Arsenal. Just 1 point for him, ending up with 3 points in that triple captain, which is quite a disaster. Now, looking at our best possible selection, Carl Dallo at the back from Leeds, 11 points for him, putting Nick Pope on the bench. David Raya couldn't make the cut with 6 points because of the rule of 3 Arsenal players only on the squad. So instead, we've got Riccardo Calafiori, William Saliba, who's on the bench, Mark Gahey getting the captaincy armband for his 15 points, Virgil van Dijk on 14, and Munoz from Crystal Palace also hitting the bench. In that stacked midfield, Rogers with 12, Dango Otara 15, Anderson with 12, Saka with 10, and Enzo with 13. Quite a big midfield performance this week. Watkins up front there with 15 as well, and Erling Haaland playing support striker with 9, and the young Krupi Jr. unfortunately having to take the bench. Now this team would have got you 149 with 175 on the bench boost for a total cost of 100.9, which still should be pretty affordable in this league at this point in time. Now with that, guys, let's look at what the matchups look like. It's here, final game week 1 left. As you can see, very few fixtures to choose from. This is what we've decided to single out. Arsenal have got Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace have an upcoming European Conference League final. They are probably going to rest a lot of players and not really chance anything against Arsenal. At the same time, Arsenal are already champions of England. They do have a Champions League final coming up on the 30th, so they as well might decide not to put too much into that team. So be very careful with your selections on that fixture. Aston Villa taking on City. Aston Villa will try and remain 4th in the Premier League to push off the challenge from Liverpool. Manchester City have nothing better to do, so expect that they might put on a few of their backup or reserve players, but still with that squad and with that depth of talent, don't put anything past them. It's also Pep Guardiola's last match, So I expect they might come out looking to give him a great send-off. Brentford going up against Liverpool. Liverpool fighting very hard to get a good result here to maybe jump Aston Villa, but still to hold on to fifth position because it's not all clear with Bournemouth pressing very hard and taking on Notts Forest. Then you've got Burnley there is taking on Wolves and Wolves taking on Burnley. This is a fight for the bottom, guys. But could be very entertaining as well. Both teams have nothing to lose. Both are relegated. So a last chance for them to get some fame in the Premier League before they dip. We've spoken about Crystal Palace before. Everton are the next one. Everton and Spurs is a big battle. Spurs need at least a point minimum for them to survive relegation. Because of the result against Chelsea, they are not safe as yet. So anything less than a point puts them in danger if West Ham can beat Leeds. Leeds are going to West Ham with 5 players from their starting lineup missing. Doubts over Jaden Bogle and Struik. So it's going to be a bit tough for Leeds, but they expect that they will put up a bit of a challenge. But West Ham have nothing to lose. Tati Castellanos is in fantastic form. Jared Bowen will definitely want to keep the club up as well. Mavropanos has been so dangerous in the front and in the back line. So expect that West Ham team with Crescencio Somerville are just going to go all out attack to try and get the 3 points and then see what happens with Spurs. So it's all very tight at the bottom in this last day of the season. So what does that mean for us then? When we look at the selections as well, Alisson is the only goalkeeper that's a bit doubtful for Liverpool. He might get a game, not entirely sure whether he will. But looking at Arsenal's defense, Timber will probably not play even if he's fit. They might save him for that Champions League or give him a few minutes. Scher, Livramento, both out for Newcastle. Ballard and Anderson both suspended and will not see another game this season, of course. Romero is in Argentina watching his boyhood club play in a cup final against the River Plate. Very, very strange decision not to be with the Spurs squad when they need the backup. Struik, as we said, is doubtful for Leeds, and Goodmanson is definitely out. Our picks for Arsenal would be Raya trying to probably get another clean sheet for the season, and Petrovic from Bournemouth. You're free to choose any of the others, but like I said, there's a lot of squad rotation possibly happening. In terms of picks, Tarkowski has been returning excellently defensively for Everton, and he'll probably try and do the same against Spurs, which could mean the end for them. I spoke about Mavropanos. Wan-Bissaka is also quite good on the attack and defense for West Ham, so those would be my 2 picks. So, Santiago Bueno for Wolves is a pick if you want to go down that fixture of Wolves, Burnley, and Esteve from Burnley. Then you've got Hall, Lewis Hall from Newcastle, might have something to prove, not in the England lineup, so he might want to really shine in this last game of the season. Van Heck from Brighton on that game. Then you've got Mosquera from Arsenal, might get a run out if Saliba and Gabriel are rested for that Champions League final. Then you've got Hill and Senesi, the Bournemouth duo, as Bournemouth try and put all the pressure on Liverpool for that final Champions League spot. Then going into midfield, the usual suspects, Kudu, Savi, Merino, Grealish, nothing much has changed there. Leeds, as we said, having some issues. Okafor is definitely out, and Stack will not be available for this game. Estevao still out for Chelsea, which is a big issue because he's such a good creative player. Sessegnon is still in doubt for Fulham, but Iwobi is back. And Casemiro is not available. No injuries for him, guys. It's just that he has an agreement with Manchester United, according to the latest confirmation, that his last game at Old Trafford, which was last game week, would be his last game for Manchester United, and he would call an end to his Manchester United career there, so not available for selection. Our picks, though, would be Pascal Gross at Brighton taking on Manchester United, but he's such a good player currently. Dewsbury Hall and Dwight McNeil for Everton. You might want to also throw in Ilman and Jay, although he's not been as explosive since coming back from the AFCON. Bruno Fernandes for Manchester United. He is 1 assist away from having the assist record for the season all on his own. He is the Premier League Player of the Season, the Football Writers Association Player of the Season. He wants to finish the season on a high. I would expect him to try and make something happen. Cunha and Shirky from Manchester City and Manchester United. Doku, Semenyo. Guys, it is really your choice how you line up the Manchester City team, because again, it is the final game for Pep. and so they might want to give it a good go, but at the same time they might decide to rotate as well. Very difficult to call when it comes to the last game week. Dango for Brentford, who's very, very attacking. Wilson for Fulham. Barnes and Gordon for Newcastle, who have been doing really well. Jaden Anthony for Burnley against Wolves. Tavernier and Ryan, as well as Alex Scott for Bournemouth. Again, take your pick from all of these. And Crescencio Somerville for West Ham, who will try his best. Again, attacking options for West Ham, they are going to go crazy, I feel. Then you've got the forwards as well. So Eddie Nketiah is still out, as is Ugo Ekitike. Now Alexander Isak is still doubtful with a knock, so he might get some reduced minutes, which is not good news for Liverpool in that chase for Europe. Then you've got Ben Chesco is highly doubtful for Manchester United with a knock, so I expect maybe Brian Mbeumo to make a play down at the forward line. And then you've got João Pedro from Chelsea, who is doubtful. João Pedro also not going to the World Cup with Brazil, unfortunately, so let's see what happens there. From the picks, Erling Haaland, last game of the season, again, a chance to see Pep off, maybe with a hat-trick, we hope. So he's definitely going to be in the selection. Then you've got Ollie Watkins for Aston Villa, Alexander Isak there for Liverpool, Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Leeds, Danny Welbeck for Brighton. No surprises there, I guess. Walter Mata for Newcastle. But here's the new guys. Tati, as you might see him on the screens, which is Castellanos from West Ham. He is in fantastic form and such an aggressive forward. Might be one to look at. And Jared Bowen, of course, the talismanic forward, might be the one that brings them out of the relegation zone. And then from Wolves, we're calling out Mane. You might also want to go for Zian Fleming from Burnley, but I mean, it's entirely up to you what you want to take a chance on there. But that's it, guys. A quick wrap up. Last game week of the season. Let's see. Let us know who you support to win the Durbanites FPL Cup and who you think is going to get relegated in the EPL. But that's all we have for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Definitely drop your comments and let us know how you think this final week is going to play out. And until next week and the wrap up, that's all for now.